between science and popular culture. C.P. Snow wrote years ago about the two cultures. I guess that gap is even wider now, but I think it illustrates something else in this instance. It illustrates the vulnerability of our marketplace of ideas, our public conversation, if you will, to manipulation by the kinds of techniques that were innovated early in the 20th century and were labeled propaganda. They're more sophisticated now. They're part of corporate PR strategies. They have been refined, and the nature of the news media has also changed. Not in all media, but in a lot. And as a result, I think we're more vulnerable to this kind of manipulation. I think we've seen it in other areas as well. And there have been times in our past when we've been vulnerable to being misled over an extended period, but not like now. And when there's a very well-funded, determined, unethical corporate campaign of disinformation, it can have a much larger impact on the impressions put into the minds of the American people than is healthy in a democracy.
When you were running for the presidency in 2000, did your advisors warn you against talking about global warming in your campaign?
Well, you know, some have written that took place. My view of that is slightly different. It wasn't a warning. It was their feeling that every single news cycle every day should be focused on whatever issue gets the most traction, if you will, the most response, and move the needle on in the horse race of the election. And in spite of that, I insisted on continuing to address this issue. But I have to say that in one respect, they were tactically correct, because often when I would discuss the issue, the formal presentation would be completely ignored in favor of some response during a Q&A afterwards on whatever the horse race issue of the day was. And over time, that inevitably led to them saying, well, look, you know, we tried this, we tried that, and that's ignored. And remember, this was at a time when more than half of all the news articles were saying this issue may not even be real, and B, my opponent, then Governor Bush, had publicly pledged to regulate CO2, and therefore the perception, a pledge that was broken immediately after the inauguration, but the perception during the contest itself was that there wasn't that much contrast. Here was a so-called compassionate conservative who said he cared a lot about global warming and had pledged to legally force the reductions of greenhouse gases, and therefore why would that be a fit issue for covering the campaign conflict? So to that extent, it was difficult to have a full-blown contrast presented in the press.
I guess I'm wondering if you've lost faith in the political system when it comes to global warming. If you think that there are certain issues like global warming that just have no sticking power in the political world until years and years and years later. Because you were talking earlier about how it was a very difficult issue to communicate during the 2000 election. Now you're going back to the very beginning of your political...
Cheguei aqui na casa do tio agora, em Fall River. Olha aqui o nosso carro. Lembra daquelas flores que eu tirei com a Nayara, a hortênsia, ó, tá tudo morta. Aqui é a parreira de uva. Tô aqui embaixo. Tá.
Jogando lixo. Tá bom? Ai, ai. Nossa, que acertado que eu fiz.